Hello, my name is Phil Gardner. I'm a director at the Ela Historical Society in Lake Zurich. And I'd like to share with you today some experience I had while racing on the ice at Fox Lake in northern Illinois. How I got started in racing was with my nephew and my brother-in-law. We traveled around the amateur circuit in northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin for several years, and my nephew got a little older. He got out of the motocross phase, and I got into it. That was around 1977. Shortly thereafter, I took a job at a motorcycle shop, selling parts and motorcycles, and then racing the motorcycles on the weekend. Well, one winter day, in walked two racers. I didn't know them, they didn't know me. We started to talk, and one thing led to another, and they were telling me about this ice racing circuit that these guys were involved with. And that was on Fox Lake at the Mineola Hotel in Fox Lake, Illinois. We went up there, and we were impressed with what we saw. These guys were flying down this ice track, going into the corners sideways. So we said to ourselves, we gotta try this. So the next season we started early, and we had to figure out how to set up our motorcycles. Now we had motocross bikes, which were very tall and made to go over jumps and dips and through mud puddles and things like that. And most of the guys we were racing against had oval racers that were made only to turn left, and it made it very easy to go around the corners fast. Well, we survived the first year with these motocross bikes. Studying the tires was something new to us, and you take hex head sheet metal screws and screw them into the knobs of the tire. Well, we didn't ask anybody. We went out on our own, bought the screws, put the screws in the tires, and then week after week, we had flat tires. The other thing that we had a difficult time with in the first season was how many studs we had in the tire, how many screws. You know, we were lugging the engines and the other guys were revving their engines. So we were intimidated, but eventually we made friends with some of these guys. And they explained to us, you have way too many screws in these tires. The second season, I thought about getting a different type of motorcycle. The motocrosser I had a lot of travel, what they call travel. And as we'd come out of the corners, the bike would start to swap side to side. It was like riding a 60-mile-an-hour pogo stick. Kind of dangerous. So the second season, I bought a motorcycle made in Spain called a Boltaco. The model was an Astro. This motorcycle was designed to turn left. So we studded up the tires. We went out the second season. What a difference. The motorcycle handled like a dream. We were much more competitive, and then we had a lot more fun. The guys we raced against were also really nice to us, that they gave us advice and pointers how to set the motorcycles up, what to do, and how to run them, how to jet the engines. It was a lot more fun the second season. In the cold, we wore full motocross boots, sometimes leathers, and big puffy coats. Full face helmet because you didn't want the wind whistling in. It was very cold. That was 40-something years ago, and the winters were much colder. And once we figured out what worked, then we knew what to wear. As far as danger, it sounds very dangerous racing motorcycles on the ice. Well, it really wasn't that bad, because if you did fall, centrifugal force sent you to the outside of the track where there were 2-foot snow berms from the plows, and you slid into the snowbank. The track itself was snow plowed. During the week, they kept the snow off it. They had a Jeep, somebody up in Fox Lake. He'd come out, he'd plow the snow off of it. And the big motorcycles they had out there, the big motorcycles would leave ruts in the track. And so what they would do is they'd come out during the week, and they'd flood the track with water to fill in those ruts. And those ruts could get bad, and it was very bumpy. It was hard to keep control when you're going at speed. We raced out of the Mineola Hotel. Mineola was a great place. It was one of the biggest wood structures in the state of Illinois at one time. And the people that own it were so nice to us, the staff. We really enjoyed it, and they treated us very, very nice. So we raced out of that hotel for many years. I probably did it for 4 seasons total. And the races themselves were divided in classes. There was the mini class for the youngsters, amateur class, pro class, but it was also divided by cc. I raced 250cc and 500cc motorcycles there, but there were also 750cc Triumphs and Nortons, BSAs, and Harley Davidsons, and boy, they could rip the track up when they got going. So, but that was a long time ago. As far as ice racing on the Chain of Lakes now or in northern Illinois, it's just too warm. We haven't had any cold winters, cold enough to do anything like that and to get an organization going.